Hello, and thank you for joining us today on this episode of the Transit Talk. Friends, we have not seen each other for quite a while, unfortunately. I hope that everybody is doing the best that they can to stay safe out there, not just for you, but for your family as well, along for your with all of your co-workers. We decided to make this Transit Talk episode to try and catch up with you guys to the best of our abilities. So, we have a couple of issues that we would like to talk to you about and to inform you about. So we're going to jump right into it to make this as short, sweet, and simple as possible. One of the things that we want to talk to you today about is next month in December, we are planning a new event, a special event, which we are going to be unveiling next month for the membership in terms of special awards and recognitions, along with a couple of videos, committees that we are planning to upload in the very near future, and some issues pertaining to health, safety, discipline, grievances, etc. So, Pete, why don't you talk to us about a couple of those things?
All right. Hello, everybody. My job, one of my main jobs as Executive Vice President is, of course, to fill in for Roger if he's ever out. The other main part is to help help fight discipline, and put in grievances. So when people have issues, the first step is to talk to your chair. They're qualified. They have a vice chair. They have a secretary. We talk every week, our grievance committee, all the chairs, about different issues. But when it gets to step 2 and step 3, that's when I jump in. I just want to let you know that 2 of the main things that the agency has been suspending people for and are extremely difficult to fight is rolling stops. So when we went through training, for me 8 years ago, for some of you much longer than that, some of you shorter than that, stop was 0. 0, 0, 0. Now I know we can drive on the road, we drive our personal cars, the person behind us wants to hurry up, our follower. It's 0, folks. 0, 0, 0. And the agency has the practice of suspending people for a day, for 3 days, for 5 days, for 10 days, for rolling stops if you get a few of them. And the arbitrator, which is step 3, is not disagreeing with them. So we're going to do our best to create a campaign to make sure everybody is educating that stop, stop, stop. So please, stop. All right? Then the other thing I wanted to tell you about is cell phones. Okay? We all know, and it's very few that we ever hear about people driving with their cell phone like this or like this, but it does happen. But what is more common is people putting their cell phone in their pocket. Okay? That is illegal according to General Order 172 for cable car, F-line for LRVs. It is not illegal for bus drivers, but it's against SFMTA policy, which makes it suspendable. We fight them, folks. The CPUC, the California Public Utilities, they came in, they put the hammer down on the SFMTA. Do not put it here, do not put it here, do not put it here. Put it in your bag. You don't have a bag? Don't bring it on the bus. Roger, we did a Transit Talk months ago, year ago, where you actually brought like a paper bag. Put it in a bag. You can't see it, can't be clear. Do not put your cell phone here, here, or here. Thank you, Roger.
Yeah, so 3 things pertaining to that, you guys, in regards to cell phones. Number 1, it has to be off. Number 2, it has to be stowed. And number 3, it has to be off of your body. So you can put it in your jacket, but you have to take your jacket off of your body, or your backpack, or your purse, or a paper bag, or a McDonald's bag, whatever the case may be. Just please do not have it on your physical body. It is really difficult to protect and defend operators when they're being brought up on these types of charges or disciplinary actions when there's 10 cameras focused on you. Yes, we will do everything that we can to protect and defend you to the best of our abilities, but it's just really difficult when there's 10 cameras focused on the operator. So please, you guys, keep that in mind when it comes to the cell phone policy. It's pretty simple. Just like in baseball, 3 strikes and you are out. If you get caught with this thing 3 times, you are fired. That's it. And like I said, we will do the best that we can to protect and defend you, but it's real difficult to do that when there's 10 cameras focused on the operator. So please, 3 strikes and you're out. If you've been here for 10 years and you get your first one, that's first strike. 5 years later, you get caught again, that's your second strike. 8 years later, you get caught again, you are fired. That's your strike 3. Okay, you guys? So we're going to be making short clips pertaining to discipline, cell phone policy, stop signs, etc. in the very near future. This video here is just a broad overview of what it is that we have planned for you in the near future. And one of the things that we have planned also in the near future is videos pertaining to paychecks, pay stubs, your money, lunches, premiums, etc. And for that, we're going to bring our treasurer, Michael Dennis. Michael, tell everybody right there what we have planned in the near future.
Thanks, Roger. Hi, everybody. I've been getting a lot of calls from people asking about their paycheck. They want me to review their paycheck, take a look and see they don't understand their paycheck. And this has been an ongoing problem for a long time. When we look at our check stubs, it doesn't really make sense. There's all these categories. You look at trapeze, it doesn't look anything like trapeze. And so this has been something that's needed for a while, some education to the members on how to understand your paycheck. And some of the ideas that I come up with is we're going to have a paycheck committee. I've mentioned this to a couple of people and they've been really excited about it. Right now we can't meet in person, obviously, but so what we're doing is we're going to be, like Roger said, creating some short video clips that are instructional videos on how to understand various parts of your paycheck. I don't want to do a big long video, one big long video on it, because that would be very long and you might have to sit through a long video just to get to the little segment that applies to your question. So we're going to be having a variety of short clips that explain different parts of your paycheck. It's going to be part of the paycheck committee that I'm very excited about. I'm going to be chairing the paycheck committee. We'll be meeting via Zoom in the meantime. And we're going to be posting links and information on the website. We're going to be updating the website and bringing it current with current information, and have these links to the various committees, and that's where you'll find the paycheck committee information.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for that, Michael Dennis. And one of the reasons, like I stated, you guys, why we're going to be focusing in on these specific individualized questions, issues, and concerns is because sometimes Transit Talk videos tend to be long, 10, 15, 20 minutes, where you actually are only asking one specific question. You're looking for one specific answer or solution. Hence the reason why we are going to be making these real short 2 to 3 minute video clips pertaining to just lunch pay, or just to stop signs, or just to the cell phone policy. Short 2 to 3 minute video clips in the very near future pertaining to specific issues, answers that you are looking for, so we can get the ball rolling on that, so you don't have to sit through a very long video. So the point of this one here is specifically just to let you know and give you a broad overview and understanding of what it is that we're going to be moving forward with in the near future. Anything else?
Well, I just do want to say, somebody might say, well, if you're not protecting us with the cell phones, you're not protecting us with the stop signs, what are you doing? Well, we have people walking into the sides of buses and trains. We have people creating issues on the buses, passengers and stuff. That we fight. When the SFMTA doesn't make a rule or policy very obvious, or they break one of your rules, that's the stuff that we love to fight. Once again, stop signs and cell phone, in their opinion, they're already letting you know. We don't think they've done a great job of it, so we are going to continue with that. I do want to bring something up. There was this paid leave update memo that came out. One of my favorite words in the English language that in my opinion was poorly used here was the word additional. So they threw out the word 10 additional floating holidays, additional COVID time. And people were asking, oh, we're getting 10 more, we're getting more COVID. That's what it sounded like. But I checked, and they did not come from the SFMTA, by the way. It came from the City and County of San Francisco, and then the SFMTA shared that information with us, and the SFMTA then gives out the floating holidays. We are working with the SFMTA to get them to put more floating holiday. For instance, Presidio has 2 slots on most every day. Woods has 3 slots. We need more spots for the sign-up coming up in January. But my point being, the memo that came out used the word additional, and that confused people. The 10 additional floating holidays, that started back in April. It's additional compared to before COVID. It's not additional to those.
I understand. If you think that's what it sounded like, a lot of people. Michael, I think I just showed you. He's like, that's what it looks like to me. I was confused. I was like, it sounds like that, but I talked to the city and I don't think it's that way. It's not. It's those 10 days. It's the same COVID. They did change one policy, which is extremely annoying because they came out with it and then they backed off on it. The city did, and the mayor's office, which is the COVID. You used to be able to just COVID sick. You could take 6-7 days with no note. Now they're saying it's going back to the old policy. Somebody did call me and ask about this. 5 days, after 5 days, you need a note, even if it's COVID sick. Okay? So, as we move into the spring, I think we should talk to the PEC, which is the Public Employees Committee, part of the San Francisco Labor Council that we're part of. If they're saying they're going to let people telecommute still, okay, going forward, we should talk to the PEC, and all these unions together should go to the city and say, okay, let's get 5 more floating holidays or 10 more floating holidays. So those of us who do come into work and are exposed on an everyday basis are rewarded for that.
Indeed, thank you for that. And that's just one of the many things that we are working on. And here at TWU Local 250A, another thing that we are working on, just real briefly, is the PCCs and the LRVs, bringing back the train service, LRV service, and PCC service back on the surface. If the tunnels, the subways are a problem, well then you know what? Let's run the train service on the surface. That's one of the things that we are working on to the best of our abilities. Another thing, like we stated earlier, is the Paycheck Committee. Before I ask Michael Dennis for his any other words, I wanted to let you know that there's a rumor going around that the agency might be thinking of going to 3 feet social distancing on the buses. Have you heard that, Pete?
I have heard that.
I've heard a rumor of that. Now, the interesting thing about that is I just read in the papers Dr. Colfax, San Francisco, and the city and county of San Francisco is actually saying that they are going to be going into some type of taking a backward step in terms rollback in terms of opening up San Francisco because of the high number of coronavirus cases that are occurring. So if this rumor is indeed true, we are going to try and nip it in the bud ASAP, given the fact that the city and county of San Francisco, Dr. Colfax, the politicians are saying that they are rolling back in terms of opening up San Francisco and its whatever stores or gyms or whatever the case may be. So,
gyms, movie theaters, stores, restaurants. But let me jump in here. They're saying we're doing it like in Europe, because Europe was a meter, which is actually 3.5 inches longer than 3 feet. But guess what they're doing in Europe? They're closing down. They're shutting down. And the SFMTA said, well, those infection rates are about big gatherings, not about public transportation. Whilst that might be true, why are we going to chance it when everybody else is rolling back, but the SFMTA is putting out more buses?
So that's just one of the things that we are working on right there. Now, in terms of getting back to Secretary Treasurer Michael Dennis and the Paycheck Committee, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the fact that there's going to be at least one person from each bus yard, bus station, bus division, however you want to refer to it as, on the Paycheck Committee, so that he or she, they can help understand and break down the paychecks, the pay stubs, how the pay works in terms of how you are being paid, because Michael Dennis does not have the time to address 2,000 of our members on an individual basis. Hence the reason why we are putting together this Paycheck Committee and the video clips in the very near future. Is that correct, Michael?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Roger. And that is the hope. The Paycheck Committee is going to be open. It's voluntary, of course, and it's open. Everyone's welcome. Everybody's invited, and the hope is that we'll have at least one or more people from each bus yard. Whether it's the operators themselves, the chair, vice chair, secretary, everybody's welcome. The more, the merrier. And so if there's, more people than just myself that can break down the check and figure out exactly what's going on these checks, that's just more helpful, easier, accessible help to all you guys. So we'll have people at each bus yard that you could go to with any questions about your check.
Perfect. I think that does it for my part. Pete, do you have anything extra
I'm good,
to share?
thank you.
Michael Dennis, anything extra to share?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, perfect. You guys, thank you very much once again for tuning in, for joining in. Remember, our monthly general membership meetings are the third Wednesdays of every month at 7 o'clock in the evening. We put out the Zoom invitation to anybody and everybody out there, so please make sure to Zoom in the third Wednesdays of every month, 7 o'clock in the evening. Thank you, and until next time, you guys, be safe out there.